go to the games, we've seen him the past 2 years creep his way back up when it comes to the last day, and I expect to see big things. He's going to be pushing himself when it comes to that bar. When he gets to the axle, it's going to be all on him to make his move.
Well, you said Spencer Hendel. He's currently in 5th with about 43 points. But unique to this Sunday for the first time, there are no cuts. So athletes have to keep pushing the pace because there's a lot more room to fall if you have a misstep here. But your leader, right there in the center of your screen, Austin Malleolo. Next to him, Dan Tyminski, your 1 and 2 for the day. These guys still have to keep pushing the pace if they want to get those top 3 spots to California.
It's going to be exciting to see these two guys go head-to-head, side by side. I love the new setup, the way they have the lanes, and our top 2 contenders are there in the middle. They can push each other. They're surrounded by really good competition. But I think it's going to be a race between these two guys the entire way through.
In the workout we're going to see those short, fast, gymnastics-oriented guys come out early and come out strong. Where the stronger guys should be pacing it because they know that shoulder overhead and that lunge seems to be the equalizer at the end.
But with athletes like Austin Malleolo and Dan Tyminski, these are fantastic CrossFit athletes. They're well-rounded. They can do all of these movements.
Event 6 is about to be underway. We're going to see the top 12 men do battle for the top 3 spots here at the Northeast Regional. And the men are going to start with 100 double unders, followed by 50 handstand push-ups, 40 toes to bar. Then they're going to move forward to our new little axle. We're going to go shouldered overhead for 30 reps, moving forward each set of 10. And then once they're done, they're going to re-rack that bar and lunge just 90 feet with 160 pounds. But we've seen that axle bar is really the game changer here today.
We haven't seen to this point any men be able to lunge the entire axle bar the whole 90 feet. I really want to see if somebody can do it, and if somebody can, it's going to be this heat.
So the men are going to start off with 100 double unders. Most of them are going to go to unbroken. This is just kind of a warm-up for this workout for them.
Yeah, absolutely. I would tell any athlete in this heat, use it as your warm-up, get yourself warmed up and ready to go for your handstand push-ups.
Something unique, and you alluded to earlier, your top 3 men are there center stage. Austin Malleolo in the yellow, Dan Tyminski on the right in the white tank top, and Eric McGee in third in the black. Austin Malleolo, he's joined by everyone else in the field. It looks like everybody went unbroken right there. Now it's on to 50 handstand push-ups.
You're going to start to see more of your separation at the handstand push-ups and the toes to bar.
You see the box they have to do those handstand push-ups in. It's about 24 inches deep, but 34 inches wide. That's about 2 inches closer than we had last year and the year before.
However, the athletes are still allowed to have their fingertips outside of those lines as long as the palm of their hands remains inside the box.
See, everybody using that kipping handstand push-up for such a large volume of handstand push-ups, that seems to be the common thread here.
Absolutely. It's much more efficient. It might not be as fast as the strict handstand push-ups, although in the previous heat we did see someone using that strict handstand push-up. He was actually going slower than the
Now
kip.
we see Dan Tyminski take a break right there. Seems pretty calm. Are these athletes going to take structured breaks, or are they going to get wrapped up in everyone else and start to just try to do as many as they can?
With athletes like Dan Tyminski and Austin Malleolo, they're seasoned veteran athletes, games athletes. They know they have to take those thought-out breaks. They know themselves, and they don't get as wrapped up in the excitement and the energy as other newer athletes.
Spencer Hendel, he has a lot of room to make up. We call him Spencer Sundays because he always seems to crawl back, but he's in a tough place right now, being that far out of third.
And Chase, his least favorite movement is handstand push-ups. I spoke with him on Thursday, and the first thing he said was, well, he hates the handstand push-ups in this workout, but everything else should be okay.
Dan Tyminski, center screen, has 1 rep. He is done first, and he will be moving on to the 40 toes to bar. Now, we have 50 handstand push-ups, blowing up the shoulders and the arms, 40 toes to bar, really taxing that core and that grip. That's all not playing into your favor when we're getting to the shoulder overhead in a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. That's a great point. But he's looking really smooth. It's going to be important then, because of that taxing, that he takes breaks. He knows where he has to break them up, but he doesn't look like he's using too much extra effort. Everything's real nice and controlled, real smooth.
Does look very smooth. Now we talk about grip a little bit. Their grips, as we saw yesterday, was just a massacre from those 100 chest bar pull-ups. Is that going to really mess with them today, or are they just saying whatever?
Sure, take a look at Fraser. He has gloves on, and it's not the preferred way to go when you have any barbells or any holding on to any bar to be using gloves. It just makes that grip even worse. So he may have ripped, but he's still looking strong on his hands or on his toes to bar as well.
Now, speaking of Mathew Fraser, he is one of the smaller athletes, which you would expect, oh, he's good at gymnastics. Actually, Mathew Fraser is a phenomenal Olympic lifter, and that was his background before he started doing CrossFit.
Yeah, he's from Champlain Valley CrossFit. He's only 5'6" and he's 180 pounds and only been CrossFitting for 6 months.
Now, Austin Malleolo just got to the toes to bar with almost 4 minutes in. Daniel Tyminski has a very strong lead. In fact, he only has about 4 reps left. He's on the right side of your screen. Judge hand in the air. So Dan Tyminski will be taking these toes to bar, moving into the shoulder overhead. Right now, that is your leader in this final heat, Dan Tyminski from CrossFit Lindy.
And you can see Austin Malleolo, he's great at deadlifts with those long arms, but that's not advantageous to handstand push-ups for him.
You see Dan Tyminski using that push jerk as opposed to some of the split jerks we saw in the previous heat where the athletes were shooting their feet out forward and back.
Yeah, Dan is strong. He's able to just go with the push jerk. And it looks like he's going to go unbroken in his first 10, which is smart.
So once the athletes complete 10 reps, they must move forward to that number 20, just designating what set of 10 that they are on. They're not allowed to do them on the same number. Austin Malleolo looking ahead, watching Dan Tyminski start to pull away from him. It's a close race for first right now, only being separated by about 4 points. So Austin needs to keep it close, at least within 3 places, to keep that first place position so far. But Dan Tyminski is your leader in the white tank top, shoulder overhead. He's starting his second set of 10. He's already done 3 in a row, and that's 4. We'll see if he can go. No, he's going to break at 5.
And he knows how to push, but he's also being smart. There's still a lot of work. 90 feet is a long way to go with a front rack hold in the front rack position.
It is a lot of work, but there's a little bit of extra work when you break, because cleaning that bar up isn't the easiest thing in the world to do anymore.
But you have to remember, if you smoke your lungs so bad, then you're going to be breaking a lot more on the lunges.
Austin Malleolo and Eric McGee have now joined Dan Tyminski on the shoulder to overhead. We'll see how they break these up in shorter sets.
Eric is just one strong dude. He is. There's no doubt about it. He has the little tighter shoulders. Maybe the flexibility isn't all there for him for the shoulders. So I am nervous for him once he gets to that front rack lunge.
And we've seen the athletes start to move forward. Eric McGee, he's moving on to his second set of 10, just as Dan Tyminski moves to his last set of 10. And Austin Malleolo chasing both of these guys now in your center lane, but 2 and 3 are starting to pull a little bit ahead of them right now.
Dan's still strong, still looks strong. He's on his last 10, and he has 5 to go.
Judge has his hand in the air. They'll let us know how many reps he has left. It looks like Dan has 4 reps left, and then he will re-rack that bar in that front position and then lunge for 90 feet.
We know Dan's a fighter. We know, we saw him yesterday, he is a fighter. He will come back from behind, from a few steps behind, but I think if he takes the lead, he will want to maintain that lead, and I think he's going to do everything he can to fight to keep that lead. So if he gets out in front, he's going to be feeling good.
Dan Tyminski finishes his 30 shoulder overhead. He is now on to the lunges at 7 minutes. Here's the time these guys are chasing right now. Previous heat, Joel Silvestri at a time of 11:50. It's about 4 minutes and 50 seconds from now, so they have time, but we have seen that the 90-foot lunge isn't the easiest thing in the world at the end of this workout.
He has a good rack position. He looks a little unsteady. We've seen a lot of guys earlier struggle with these lunges. He's just trying to maintain that core and stay as tight as he can. That bar is thick. And with the axle chase, it is rolled up as tight to your neck as possible. Unlike a regular traditional bar where you can keep your chin down, that bar is slammed up into his Adam's apple. It's not comfortable.
Now, we see Dan Kaminsky, most guys are using knee sleeves, which is supposed to help kind of in the bottom of the squat and keep that knee tight. Dan Tyminski is actually wearing knee pads for these lunges. A little bit of forward thinking there.
Absolutely. I think it's a great idea. I feel like the reason a lot of the athletes are wearing the sleeves are for that same reason. He also brought the pads for this. They're out on a basketball court, an outdoor basketball court. If you've ever been on that court, it's a hard surface. It will rip up and tear up the lunges or the legs.
Dan Kaminsky walking away, but there's still 11 competitors battling on the shoulder overhead. That's Mathew Fraser in the center of your screen in the white. But Dan Tyminski, center, he has about 10 lunges left to go. He's struggling. I wonder if he's going to be able to finish or he's going to take one break. He's going to take one break before he gets there. No one's even close to him right now. Mathew Fraser in the back part of your screen is slowly following him. Now, we thought he was going to do well in the lunges having that strong background. Yeah, but you have to remember, he has the Olympic background. They're not quite known for their lung capacity, and there's a lot of lungs, a lot of oxygen transfer that's needed for these lunges, especially with a load of 160 holding on the front rack. Past that 9-minute mark, again, these athletes are chasing the best time of the day set here at 11:50. But Mathew Fraser, he's coming on strong. He was sitting in about 6th place with 50 points. He can make a decent jump here. The rest of the field is slowly starting to come with him, but they're all chasing one man, and that is Dan Tyminski. And he just finishes in a time of 9:30. That is the best time that we've seen by over 2 minutes and 20 seconds. He's happy with that performance. He's happy to be done. You could see those last lunges were definitely a struggle for him. He gained his composure after the shoulder to overhead. He thought he was ready to go for it, but you can see that bar just told him otherwise. Dan absolutely leveled the field, but the rest of the field has still got places to go. They got to fight for these final spots, and Spencer Hindle is still struggling, but in second right now in this heat. Mathew Fraser, he's making some moves. He knows he has some room to make up for that top 3 spot, and he's going to finish in second place. Unofficial time, not 10:15. That's good for second for the day. Very solid performance from him. I'm very impressed with his abilities, and again, he's only been CrossFitting for 6 months. That's unbelievable. You saw Mathew look at his hand, just still getting ripped up from the last 2 days. The next closest athletes are halfway done with their lunges. Eric McGee, look at just the grit on his teeth. He knows he still has people chasing him, and he wants to keep that top 3rd spot. He's going to break right there. Austin Malleolo and Spencer Hindle. Spencer Hindle knows he has to make up some room here, and this is the man he has to beat right here in the black, Eric McGee. Watch when Eric McGee picks up that bar. His core is solid. He's locked in tight. He just needed to set that bar down to breathe. Oh, the grip coming into play, and Eric McGee getting past here in the corner. That is Craig Kenney just slipping by Eric McGee there for 3rd place overall. We saw Craig have an amazing performance in that 100s workout. He's a strong guy, and he handled those lunges like they were nothing. He's a big man, 200 pounds. He was able to fight through the auto-gymnastics movement and just blow out there on the end of the lunges. Your #1 overall in the Northeast Regional, Austin Malleolo, is about to finish his lunges. He'll be about 4th or 5th in this heat. Still good enough to keep his standings, but that might switch between Dan and Austin based off the point spread here. It's not going to affect Austin's ranks too much as far as him going to the games or setting himself up, but it did not help him. He's going to definitely have to put up a really good performance in the last workout. Spencer Hindle just finishing his lunges. He had to have a good workout here in event 6, but I don't think that's going to be enough. Unfortunately, sad to say, but I don't know if this is going to be Spencer's year. Past that 12-minute mark, we have 3 minutes left until the time cap. We still have a few men on the shoulder overhead, so we got a long way to go for these guys. And that is Kyle Sykes from CrossFit 217. He finishes in a time of 12:20. So nearly all these men took the best time of the previous heat from Joe Silvestri, so we can see the discrepancy between these 2 heats. These guys, even though, I'll just say, Dan Tyminski made that look entirely too easy. Yeah, that was ridiculous, but this heat started off way faster than any of the previous men's heats, and I think a lot of them were able to maintain that speed. I think it hurt a few of these guys. In this front of your screen right here is Eric Shank. The man came in 44th place from the open, only because a lot of guys declined. And he's sitting in 11th right now. That's amazing. Yeah, that's a testament to his fitness, his levels of ability, and I'm really impressed with him to be able to be in this final heat with the men. He has to be so happy. He's putting up a great performance, not just right now, but for the entire 2 days we've seen so far. So hoping that Eric Shank just shows you, it's like the cream rises to the top in the open, but who gets left out at the bottom? And there's a perfect example, Eric Shank. Bert Garceau, he's about to finish up his lunges. He has about 90 seconds left to finish. He put up a great time yesterday in the deadlift box jump workout to jump him up into this final heat. Christian Harris in the red. He's struggling with this weight. He's normally a strong guy, but I think the first set of the handstand push-ups and those toes to bar really took it out of him for this part of the workout.
Absolutely, he's 6'1". That's a lot of handstand push-ups for him. You can see he's choosing to do the mixed front, the front rack hold. His shoulders are just shot from all those handstand push-ups.
He does have a solid position, but after the last 2 days and that amount of volume and repetitions, you see it's starting to take its toll on those stronger, bigger athletes.
He has about 35 seconds, but he has the crowd support right now. People are cheering him on. They want to see him finish.
We got Christian Harris and Ian Berger left on the field right now. They have about 25 seconds to finish. Ian Berger on your screen, he has about 10 steps and 20 seconds to get there as the rest of the pack starts to cheer him on. They know he wants to finish. They want him to finish. And just that CrossFit, listen to the crowd just cheering him on to get past this line. You know he wants it. Everybody else does too. He has about 3 seconds to get to that mat. Wow, 1 second left. Ian Berger, that's incredible. Seeing what Dan did was great, but to watch a guy gut it out and finish is even better.
And what you always notice is who is one of the first guys there cheering him on and pushing people when they're finished? Austin Malleolo. He is always the first one to go cheer on a fellow teammate, a fellow competitor. I love that about Austin.
It's just that great camaraderie we see across the board with these athletes. I think it's something so unique to the sport, and it's something that I just love dearly. It's great.
That's why I love being a part of the sport, and it's genuine. You know, people can look at that and they might not think it's genuine, but it absolutely is. You know what it feels like to finish, and you want other people to feel that same way.
It's genuine with the competitors, but even the crowd. I mean, I think there was more of a cheer for Ian Berger finishing with 1 second left than there was Dan Tyminski. And both performances, different outcomes, but just as impressive.
You're absolutely right.
So we're going to go down to your winner, Dan Tyminski, with Stacy here on the floor.
Dan Tyminski, an amazing performance. You kept the lead the entire heat. What did you say to yourself right before you started this, knowing you were in second place on the leaderboard?
Well, I had a game plan, and I really just had to keep telling myself that, like, I have to stick to my game plan. Like, this is my kind of workout, and if I follow it correctly, I should have no problem.
So what are you going to do to prepare yourself for the last workout?
Well, I think the last one's really a sprint, so I just got to get in the mindset of just push, try to go as fast as I can, and just kind of like work at like a good capacity.
Well, good luck the rest of the week.
Thank you.
Back to you guys.
Thank you, Stacy, and congrats to Dan. Well, that concludes Event 6 for the men and the women here at the Northeast Regional. But it is not over. For official results, you need to check the leaderboard and our website at games.crossfit.com. But the update show tonight, we will be broadcasting live at 6 p.m. Eastern who is going to the CrossFit Games. We're going to be able to see the final heat of Event 7. That's going to be 4 rounds, 2 rope climbs, 100-foot sprint across the floor, 4 cleans at 225, 100 sprint back, 4 rounds back and forth. Like Dan said, it's going to be a sprint, something kind of relative to the dumbbell snatch we saw. I'm excited. It's too close to call right now. There's 6 people fighting for 3 spots, so we're going to get a good show tonight.
I'm excited. I can't wait to see. We started the weekend off with a sprint. We're going to finish it with a sprint. Join us back here tonight.
Well, the final event will be tonight. We're going to see who's going to punch their ticket to California. For Tanya Wagner, I'm Chase Ingham. We'll see you guys tonight.